If you would put a black man in that situation, if it was someone like Dricus du Duplessis, he wouldn't be here with us today. Okay, so the the Dustin Poirier thing, it's gonna be bad, and he says the word. I had this weird, and it's weird because when I woke up in the middle of the night, it felt like so profound, and here was my concept of the video, and I'm not joking. Like, this wasn't like a funny. I remember thinking, like, I saw parts of his interview with Ariel Helwani, and I saw, like, different moments where he was talking about it on the Deep Waters show and stuff like that, and how he was talking about his use of the N-word. And I said it already. I've never been a fan of Dustin Poirier, but personally, I didn't feel like his use of the N-word was the story there. The story there was, gotta get your stuff together, man. Stop being an alcoholic. Figure out that stuff. The use of the N-word, to me, and I've said it repeatedly, I know I'm not breaking a new joke here. To me, his use of the N-word was like the way he'd use it when he's talking with his mom or something like that. Very colloquially, just very laid back, just kind of a term of endearment. And a lot of people were getting very upset that he used that word. And I'll say it again. I don't use that word. I don't think I've ever used it in my life. And if I have, I was probably like 8 years old, and I was just trying to like get a rise out of like my siblings or something. Just feeling like I was living on the edge. I don't know. But I don't think I've ever said that word. It's just not organic to me. So I'm not saying that I'm someone that champions the use of it and I think it's fantastic or anything like that. You got to get those reps in. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, when I watched that video, you could tell by the way he delivered it that there was no malice there, that there was no kind of prejudice or no racism or anything like that. Like there is when you see, I made the statement, when I see DC, when I see Daniel Comed use the N-word, I feel like a hate crime is taking place. I don't know why. And he is, I don't know if you could say that. I was going to say he is I don't know if you could say it like that. He is a black dude. But it's just something about when it comes out of his mouth that don't feel right. But when Poirier said it, it was like he was just saying like, yeah, it's going to be bad, my dude. It's going to be bad, homie. It's going to be bad, bro. It was so, like, you could tell that was just the vernacular of where he came from and how he came up, and he went to a high school that was like, he went to one of those high schools. He went to like a Coach Carter high school. He went to one of them high schools where like they bring in like this teacher that wears like sweater vests, and he's like trying to turn it around, and they play like Gangster's Paradise when they're playing the credits and stuff like that. He went to that kind of school when he was a kid. And so when he used that word, to me, it was just like, that's not how he meant it. It's part of the culture that he came up in. And my video idea was that when he said, it's going to be bad, Mike, and it felt like a revelation. I'm telling you, this wasn't some silly joke. I thought, I'm going to make a whole video about this immature joke or something. I remember I woke up and I was like, I don't think he was talking to the cop or the security guard or whoever. I think he was talking to himself. Like, he knew it was like kind of, I bet you're wondering how I got here. It was at that moment. He knew. It was one of those moments where I think Poirier kind of had this moment of realization where he's like looking at them ladies and looking at this dude. And he sees the dude with his fingers on the taser. And it's like, he thought it like out loud. And he's like, oh, dang, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad, my Poirier. Like, but he said the word. And I was thinking that's what it was. It was like his internal monologue, but it just came out because he was intoxicated. So, you just don't really have full control of yourself in circumstances like that. But I thought, you know what? I haven't heard anybody look at it from that perspective. I haven't heard anybody talk about it like that. That I think this dude was struggling with something internally. And when he said, it's going to be bad, he was talking to himself. And he was right. he was right. It was bad. He was right. And it could have been way worse. He could have absolutely. I mean, we've seen dudes shot for so much less. So much less. Now, if it was someone like Dricus, if you would put a black man in that situation, if it was someone like Dricus du Plessis, he wouldn't be here with us today. We would have never been able to see him face Kamaru Usman. If it would have been someone like the King of Africa, Dricus du Plessis, we're telling a different story right now. Whole different story. We're talking about his memory. Now, I don't know how Poirier got away with it. And I'm not someone that likes to spend a lot of time talking about skin color. It's not my thing. Unless it's on video. But he has, I mean, hope, maybe he does. It seems like he has no idea how much worse and how much different that situation could have turned out. So, technically, it wasn't that bad, my dude. It wasn't that bad. It could have been a lot worse, Poirier. Could have been much, much worse. But it was just something that was on my beanie. I was just thinking it might have been like an internal thing, like the furthest thing from possible as far as some kind of racism or coming at people with slurs and stuff like that. I think he just was kind of like checking himself before he fully wrecked himself.